The blazing sun bore down as the dig team finally brushed away the last layer of sand. The forgotten pyramid's entrance yawned open like a mouth in the dunes, framed by weathered hieroglyphics that glinted faintly in the harsh light. The foreman, Ahmed, crossed himself. "This is not a place for men," he muttered. "The star gods will be angry." Professor Carter dismissed the warning with a wave. "Superstition," he said. But as the team ventured inside, the air itself seemed heavier, as though holding its breath. That evening, as the team rested by the fire, Ahmed recounted the tales passed down by his ancestors. They were not gods like Ra or Osiris, he said, his voice low. They came from the sky, bringing light and knowledge. But the Pharaoh grew fearful of their power and buried their gifts deep beneath the sands. To disturb their resting place is to call them back. The team chuckled nervously, but Carter leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. "What kind of gifts?" he asked, but Ahmed only shook his head. "Things no man should touch." Deep within, the pyramid's heart, the team uncovered a small, concealed chamber. The walls were carved with unfamiliar symbols, different from any hieroglyphics Carter had ever seen. At the center of the room lay a cylindrical object, sleek and metallic, its surface unmarred by time. A faint pale light pulsed from within. Carter touched it, feeling warmth and vibration, as though it were alive. "This isn't Egyptian," he murmured, his heart racing. "This is something else." Back at camp, the artifact sat on Carter's desk, casting faint shadows in the lamplight. That night, the camels grew restless, braying at the stars. Equipment malfunctioned without cause, and whispers, low, insistent, seemed to echo through the tents. Carter's assistant, Mary, swore she saw faint lights moving on the distant horizon. But when Carter looked, the dunes were dark, pouring. Over photographs of the chamber's walls, Carter and Mary found themselves confounded. "This isn't any ancient Egyptian script," Mary said, her voice trembling. "It's mathematical, almost like star charts." Carter frowned, his fingers tracing the patterns. "Who could have carved this? The precision is—" He trailed off as he noticed a recurring symbol, a constellation that didn't match any known to Earth. Convinced of the artifact's importance, Carter chipped off a tiny fragment and sent it with a courier to Cairo for analysis. Days later, a telegram arrived bearing only 3 words, "Not of Earth." When Carter finally received the full report, it detailed an alloy of unknown composition, resistant to the strongest acids and unaffected by heat. "This is beyond anything we've ever seen," Mary whispered, her hands trembling as she read. At night, as Mary documented the stars, she noticed something unsettling. The artifact's glow intensified when a particular constellation moved overhead. "It's like it's alive," she said, her voice shaking. Carter adjusted his telescope, following her gaze. The constellation seemed ordinary, but the artifact pulsed in rhythm, as if communicating with something far beyond their understanding. Pushing deeper into the pyramid, the team uncovered a vast chamber. Its domed ceiling was covered with glowing constellations, carved with impossible precision. "It's a star map," Carter said, awe in his voice, "but it shows stars we've never seen." At the center of the map was a figure, half human, half otherworldly, holding an object that looked exactly like the artifact. Beneath it, a single inscription read, "The key to their kingdom." "They're coming," Ahmed said, his face pale. "The star gods are watching you." Carter dismissed the claims as hysteria, but unease settled over the camp. More villagers reported glowing orbs above the desert, and one laborer claimed to see a towering figure silhouetted against the stars, only to vanish in the blink of an eye. "It's just the wind," Carter told Mary, though he didn't believe his own words. Venturing deeper into the pyramid, the team uncovered a tomb sealed with gold and onyx. Inside lay the sarcophagus of a forgotten pharaoh, his name erased from history. The carvings on the walls told a fragmented story: visitors from the heavens, a gift bestowed, and a betrayal that ended in burial. Clutched in the pharaoh's skeletal hands was a small device, eerily similar to the artifact. As the artifact's glow intensified, the walls of the tomb began to shift, revealing towering statues of jackal-headed figures. At first, Carter thought they were carvings, until one moved. With jerky, unnatural motions, the Guardian's obsidian eyes locked onto the intruders. The team fled, the sound of grinding stone and echoing footsteps pursuing them through the twisting corridors. Behind them, the artifact emitted a piercing tone, almost like a warning. That night, the artifact flared to life, its light flooding the tent with unnatural brilliance. It emitted a hum that resonated deep in Carter's chest, vibrating the very ground. Mary gasped as the photos on the desk began to shift, symbols aligning, forming a coherent message. "It's a signal," Carter whispered. "It's calling to something." The stars above the camp seemed to ripple, and a vast shadow blotted out the moon. A ship, impossibly large and silent, descended. From the heavens, its surface smooth and black as obsidian. Lights danced along its edges, mirroring the artifact's glow. The villagers fled, screaming of gods returning to punish the unworthy. Desperate for answers, Carter followed Ahmed to an isolated rock formation where ancient carvings stretched across the cliff face. The images depicted chaos, strange figures, descending from the sky, humans cowering in fear, and the star gods leaving in fiery wrath. At the bottom of the mural was a clear warning: when the key awakens, the stars will answer. As the towering ship loomed overhead, the beings of light and shadow emerged, their forms shifting like liquid. Their voices filled Carter's mind, layered and alien. "We came to guide, not to rule," they said. "Your kind betrayed us, turning knowledge into weapons. The Pharaoh sought to destroy us, but we remain." Carter, trembling, asked, "Why did you leave the key?" The beings paused. "Hope," they replied, "but hope can also destroy." From the ship came figures of light and shadow, their forms shifting and indistinct. They spoke not in words, but in thoughts that filled Carter's mind. "You have awakened what was buried," they said. "The gift was not meant for your kind. It brought ruin before, and it will bring ruin again." Images of destruction flooded Carter's vision. Cities, burning, the skies darkened. Return it, or face the same fate. "If we return it, will you spare us?" Carter asked, clutching the artifact. The beings shifted, their forms coalescing into something almost human. "We will not destroy you," they said. "But knowledge has a price." Carter hesitated. "What price?" he asked, but they offered no reply. Instead, the artifact flared, and Carter collapsed. Visions of the future, both brilliant and catastrophic, flooding his mind. The artifact dissolved into light, and the ship ascended, vanishing into the stars. A rumble echoed through the sands as the pyramid began to collapse, the ancient structure swallowing itself whole. By morning, only dunes remained, the desert erasing all traces of what had transpired. Carter stared at the horizon, haunted by the knowledge that humanity was never alone and never truly safe. In 1975, a space probe launched by humanity encountered something strange on the edge of the solar system. A beacon, transmitting signals in the same patterns Carter had documented. Decades earlier, the artifact's legacy remained, an unanswered question among the stars. Decades later, Carter's journal was discovered in an archive, its pages filled with sketches of the artifact and the ship. The final entry read, "They are watching. They always have been, Perhaps we should leave the stars to themselves.